and for being laughed at. But the issue you have now in our society now is if you make jokes about Boris Johnson or Theresa May, it's very easy. But as someone who's from a Jewish background, talking about anti-Semitism and Labour, people don't react in the same way at all, even though the allegations are equally serious and equally legitimate, as we now know.
How do they react then?
Very much like you're talking about a very sacred figure. If you make fun of or make jokes about Jeremy Corbyn, the reaction seems to be like this person shouldn't be laughed at very often. So I think there's a bit of a double standard there, which troubles me in comedy, but it troubles me more broadly in society. We don't treat the two sides of the political spectrum in anything like the same way.
You mentioned there at the beginning that you're drawing on what happened last year. I mean, just to people I'm sure are very familiar with it, but you were asked to sign some form, and there's a list of all the things they were asking you not to be.
Yes.
It went on and on, didn't it? What was it now?
So they said that they have a zero tolerance policy on racism, sexism, classism, ageism, ableism, homophobia, biphobia, transphobia, xenophobia, Islamophobia, anti-religion, and anti-atheism. So you're asking me how to do comedy, you're laughing already, right? And it also, by the way, said that all jokes must be respectful and kind, which I don't know. I mean, it's a comedy show. It's not the Green Party conference where someone's going to burst into tears because the falafel wrap's not 100% vegan. Do you know? It's it's insanity. And of course, if it had just been that incident, I don't think I would have made any big deal out of it. But I think, as you and I both know, we are now living in a society where institutions like universities, they're no longer about learning. They're about indoctrination. They're about spreading a particular ideology among young people.
You went to university here, did you?
I went to University of Edinburgh.
So what was it like when you were there?
I don't remember anything like this. It was 15 years ago that I was at university, and I don't remember this being the issue at all. I remember just going to university and learning stuff. Not all of it was useful, but it was still you were there to learn. There was no sense that you were being indoctrinated with all this far left ideology, which I think is what's happening now.
So there were no safe spaces didn't exist then, did they? Not 15 years ago. I mean, universities have always been pretty left.
Yes.
But it's this tightening of the whole idea of free speech. That is what is different now, I think, isn't it?
Well, but even when you say they've always been pretty left, that's entirely accurate. But the extent to which they've been left is not nearly as big. That gap is not nearly as big 40 years ago as it is now. So I think Jonathan Haidt has done some research on this, and what he showed is in the 60s the ratio of conservatives to liberals at universities was about 1 to 2. Now it's about 1 to 10. Right? So that has changed dramatically, which explains why these far left ideas are far more accepted now.
I think, I mean, I was at a very left-wing university at Kent back in the 80s, it was very, very left-wing. But I think what's changed maybe, Konstantin, is that then it was a question of like no platforming various Tory MPs that would come down, right? It was very simple stuff. We didn't have identity politics. What you're talking about, like with that agreement they wanted you to sign, that was entirely about identity politics, isn't it? That's the form of attack now in which the left is taking, isn't it?
Well, identity politics is this ingenious idea that the best way to stop racism, sexism, and homophobia is to judge people on their race, their sex, and their sexual orientation. You couldn't make it up. I mean, Martin Luther King was talking about his children. He wanted his children to be judged on the content of their character. And now we are running around judging each other, not on the content of our character, but on the color of our skin. It is absolutely insane.